Welcome to this video, which hopefully will help students with the Chapter 3 assignment in this web class. Probably most of you, maybe all of you, really don't need this, but about the time I don't make a video, someone will feel the need for that dependence, and that's perfectly alright. Do not feel unintelligent, for lack of a better word. Do not feel excuse me, inferior or feel badly because you're needing the video. Some people just need that visual explanation because it's their learning style strength, and I'm totally fine with that. Having said that, I'll go through this exercise with you, and before I actually do, this is just the part 1 screen capture of the exercise itself at the beginning, and I'll go through this with you. Bear with me on the video, and bear with me as I battle the cold at this recording that a lot of people have. And if you go into Blackboard, just as a reminder, there is a section over on the right hand side that's called Help, and I use that personally as a place. I jokingly, with the 4 capital letters and the exclamation point, I basically say help, more like a drama thing rather than a yelling thing. So when you click on Help, you'll see a lot of resources that I have attempted to set up to assist you, especially for the online students, and for that matter the CETA students when I'm not around. If you go down to Chapter 3, it says Google Sheet and Video. The video will be there in just a moment as I'm recording it right now. But you see a document that says Google Searching, and all that is just for informational purposes. And what I've shown here, or attempted to show, not with an explanation so much, is when you use Google for searching, and I'm using this one because it arguably is the most commonly used one, and there may be some equivalents in Bing and Yahoo and some of the other search engines and directories, but I want to make sure that I use one that's safe and that I know well, and that the book is really emphasizing. When you do a Google search, and of course they have the right as websites to change these constantly, you'll see some items when you have search results. One group is called one box results. For example, it will show images right here where it says images for Space Shuttle. There are paid advertisements over on the right hand side, like in the case of this NASA human space flight. You've got filters, which I think you're already familiar with, over on the left, where it says you can search strictly images or maps or videos or news or whatever. So you can and you can do dates and such. So it gives you a breakdown. Lots of search engines, particularly the specialized ones, will basically have various kinds of breakdowns and specifics that you can use in your searches. And I just wanted you to be familiar with this sheet, just if you need some help on it. Here are some examples of refining searches, and these are very close to the examples you'll actually have in the exercise. And you can read these to see what's going on. For example, CLT, and sorry about the dots right there. I've got the white space there. There we go. CLT and a few spaces, the word Boston. You don't have to have that many spaces for the very literal learner here. I did that just for readability. And it will tell you how the computer interprets it. For example, CLT BOS will do flights from Charlotte to Boston. If you're more into what I call natural language, like where's the Honda Accord, conversational type thing, it will give the occurrence of both keywords, Honda and Accord. If you have an exact phrase you want, the words side by side, like mobile apps, you would use quotes around it. If you want dates, you'd have the 2012 2013 if you want articles for those specific dates or months or years. Definitions are there with the word define. A minus means to not include a certain word. So if I wanted to look Apple up on a search and not have the word iPod anywhere there, you can use the minus symbol. If you want synonyms, like in your thesaurus, the little tilde sign from Spanish will be in front of the word. A file type, if you only want PowerPoint slides or Excel spreadsheets or a PDF file, you can use the file type specific. You can look for words in a particular site, like if I want to look up the word car only in the honda.com site. If I want to find words in the title across the top of the screen of the website, now that's not the URL, that's the title of the page, you can use in title or you can use all in title. You can, and especially if you have more than one word. If you want to find the words in the web address or URL, you can use the in URL or the all in URL additive. And you got to note here that if you use this, you got to put the colon and the word. There can be no spaces there. I think it's pretty precise about that. If you want to find text in the body of the website, you can use in text, all in text. You want sites similar to a site, such as related, www.unc.edu. If you want words that are close to each other in the text, like if I want to find the word music and the word Canada near each other in the text, maybe they're within 10 or 20 words of each other, you can use that. Many people will use sentences because they're, again, used to human language, especially the younger folks I've dealt with in early college. And what happens in the computer, these stop words really are ignored by the computer. If the search engine stored all the occurrences of a, at, the, where, how, what, when, a, as, over, under, it would not really be very significant, and it would actually make your search a little longer to do. So those stop words are not necessary, except maybe in the individual feeling better about what they're typing. You can use the advanced search box, as I mentioned before. Like I've got the example here where I'm clicking the word chocolate, typing the word chocolate, and if I click the gear over to the right, which seems to be a real common drop-down menu symbol these days, I can go to advanced search, and I get a screen that will help in not having to deal with these specific words that I have right here. And I hope I'm not making you dizzy flipping back and forth. But instead of having to type these words out, it's like comparing the old DOS computer commands to now what we do in Windows, which is clicking and choosing stuff. I can actually look, and I misspelled something here, this sheet, sorry about that. I can go in and I can look up the last update, the last time something was done. So if you want a recent site, if you want a particular site or domain, if you want to have a certain reading level, file type, you can use these items also. I can search for images by clicking on the bar, especially if you have a Google account. You can click on the black bar and you can choose the word images right there. You can type images.google.com or calendar.google.com. You have a lot of sites that will be more narrowed than just your basic text box for searching. iGoogle, that will let you design your Google screen, so you can put the little gadgets. That's a shortcut for, well, these gadgets is what Apple invented first, basically a predecessor of the old apps that we have on tablets and smartphones now. But you can go in and click these particular buttons and fancy up or customize your screen if you want to. Now I've got some online articles that will give you instructions on doing better searching as well, which you can click. Those are hyperlinks and you can actually go in and look at these. Having said that, now I want to look at the actual exercise with you and see if I can help you out with it. So, and I'm going to flip back and forth with some of this stuff, but basically what I'm wanting you to do here, and I don't want anyone to make this difficult. Some students, out of nervousness or got to make the A to please Mike number, can't let the learning take place because they're so focused on the grade that it makes it difficult for them. They become nervous or scared, and I don't want that to be the case. I want this to be a fun experience for you. So if I go into google.com, and you're going to see a lot of screens flipping back and forth now out of necessity. By the way, if you go to homework test, you will actually see this document under chapter 3. It may not be exactly like this if this is a video from a previous year, but you'll see chapter 3 assignment, and it gives you all these instructions as necessary. I'm going to log out of this for right now and see what I can do here. So if I go into google.com, and let's start with the, I'll do these rather rapidly, so you'll have to stop the video as necessary. If I type in CLT and BOS, again, I'm having to flip back and forth right here. What I'm mainly wanting right here is for you to note what the results are. Don't put something like, well, it gives me results. Look at what they have in common. If I'm actually looking at these here, I'm not sure if I can write on this or not with this pen. Probably not. But if I go in and look at the commonality here, you notice I've got all the results seem to refer to flights between two cities that have these 3 letters for their abbreviations. And for those of you who are not familiar with flying, the airports typically have 3-letter abbreviations, like CLT is Charlotte, SAN is San Francisco, LAX is Los Angeles, and basically that's the kind of specific I want here when you're looking at results. If I type in Abraham Lincoln, file type PPTX, again I'll go in with these and let you see what's happening with them. I hope I'm not boring you here. If I go in and I type Abraham Lincoln, file type, and I get a lot of results as you see right here, but if I go in and I type PPT or PPTX, what will happen in that search? Notice the commonality among all the results. Instead of just getting anything about Lincoln, I'm getting PPT a lot, and I hope you know the abbreviation, what that abbreviation represents. And that's basically what I'm doing right here. I'm skipping around on some of these now. I'll go to the one that says tilde elderly minus elderly right here. And if I type that in, And this might not be the ideal way for you to do this, but it's just to get familiar with something beyond just basic searches. Notice this third one in particular, and that's probably what you're getting right here. And this all-in-one box thing that you see in Google, sometimes they'll have images for something or news for something. They'll have a group of results that will often happen here. Basically, I'm just wanting you to try these out and see what happens. Again, try not to make this too difficult. If I do the one that says INURL planet, INURL colon, and again the spacing is important to be aware of here. Notice the website names in green. That's the key, and the word planet, and without just telling you answers to write down so you don't become just a transcriber, this is basically what you're doing in the first section. I want you to use the advanced search for Google in the next part and explain your results as specifically as possible. In other words, don't put down, well, it gave me a bunch of sites about courses. So I want you to fill in these items. For example, in this very first one, you'll write the word courses in the all these words section. You want to choose last year, and you want to choose www.clevelandcc.edu. And again, to show you how this works, when I go into Google, there is a gear over on the far right, which you click to choose advanced search. And this specific one, I would put in for all these words, I hope I remember this, courses. I would go down to where it says last update and choose, I think I said past year, hopefully I did, you get the idea. And for the site, didn't say anything about the file type, but for the site or domain, I'll put www.clevelandcc.edu. So I've got those three specifics in there. Notice what will happen. The computer will actually give me these search words, courses, site, www.clevelandcc.edu, and it's got the word past year right there as the filter. So that's what you're going to notice. It almost seems to be kind of a self-explanatory situation for some of you. Others will be a little more nervous, or maybe like me, they're not as visual and don't see it. But notice the word courses in the results, notice the website names, and again, I want you to be reminded of, or if you're new to this, I want you to be aware of how much more powerful your searches will be if you're specific with it. I want you to try something else in item C, log into the Google site, and see what happens when you click the I'm feeling lucky button. A lot of people, back in the older days of Google, what would happen is I'm feeling lucky would be a little different. It would give you exactly one site, one result when you did the searching instead of several million. So here I am at Google again, and if I go over to the I'm feeling lucky button and just hover over it, it spins like a roulette wheel, and I get I'm feeling wonderful, I'm feeling stellar, I'm feeling doodly. I'm going to click I'm feeling doodly because a lot of you have seen these, and this gives you a bunch of the doodles that Google is often known for putting on a daily basis on their site, which celebrates some holiday or some attribute to a living or a deceased famous person. And if you go through here, you can see the different ones that are available, and that's what happens when you click the I'm feeling lucky button, and that's what's going on in that part. I will deal with, I was going to say I'll deal with part 2 in the next one. I may go ahead and do some of this now. Actually, I'm going to deal with parts 2, 3, and 4 in another video, so that this will break up the exercise just a little bit for you. So tune in for another video, and I'll get back with you. I hope this helps.